going on? It's a late night of Milanista's report, episode 5 with your host Nicko. It's a late night. I just got back from watching Deadpool Wolverine with a friend of mine. Really good movie, by the way. If you're into Marvel and all that other comic book characters, it's an excellent movie. With that being said, I'm going to start off with a different approach tonight. Tonight we're going to be going over the most latest transfer news for Milan. Then we're going to get into some our new signing, our first defensive signing, Pavlović from Red Bull Salzburg. Finally, we got a defensive player. And then we're going to get into some alternative CDMs. I like to see that Milan, target, Obviously, we might not get Fofana or the kid Kone from Bundesliga I spoke about in episode 4. But let's kick the show off. Let's go. All right, and we're back. All right, Milanista Calcio fans. So right now it's about 1 o'clock local time down here in Mexico. Family's fast asleep for now. I'm enjoying this little bottle of mezcal from Oaxaca, Mexico. Excellent stuff, by the way. If you guys into mezcal, tequila, that type of, spirits, I'd really recommend this stuff right here. 400 conejos. Excellent mezcal. All right. With that being said, let's get into the latest transfer news. First off, last thing I heard, and just from fellow Milanisti, rumors on X from various reporters, et cetera. We still haven't gotten even close to signing Fofana. I think last time I checked, Monaco, even though on his last year of his contract, they're still sticking to that high 30 mil request to get him. It doesn't make any sense. That being said, I really wanted him, being that we needed to fill that CDM spot, right? And the other guy that we were trying to pivot off from Fofana was Kone, that I spoke about, and I broke down some of his scouting report in episode number 4. He's a younger version of Fofana, a really strong player physically on the ball, covered a lot of ground, has a really good engine. There's no news on him as well. But it looks like we're closing the deal on Emerson Royale. Last time I checked a few hours ago, I think we were still in negotiations with his club to get him. So these are my thoughts on Emerson Royale. He's an average player. Everybody I've spoken to, Tottenham fans, other football fans out there, say he's an average player. Not very good bringing the ball up. From the videos that I've seen online, he likes to attack, but he's not a Brazilian, some next Cafu by any means. All right, let's be honest. So I'm not too sure why we're trying to get him. We have Calabria, who's probably on the same level as him now. We have Kalulu that can do a decent job. And we have Tedesano. So I'm not too sure why we're trying to get Royale. That's something Fonseca and management want, because according to sources, he wants to keep him inverted so he can get Theo to bomb up the pitch more. But in the games that I've seen, in preseason. I've seen a few times Calabria going up the pitch as well, getting involved in the attacking phase. So I'm not too sure exactly what's going to happen with Everton Royale. But in my opinion, from watching football for over 30 years, and coaching it to some degree and playing it, waste of time. But it is what it is. And also, it looks like we're also looking at this kid, Johnny Cardozo, which is an interesting character, actually. Let me see if I get the right pickup here. So this is not the best reputable resource out there, but all the sources are stating the same thing. Looks like Milan is looking to pursue Cardozo. He plays in the national team, U.S. national team. He's a CDM. He currently plays in Real Betis. He played in Brazil for a little bit with Internacional. He's actually pretty technical. Covers a lot of grounds. I think he's in the Olympics right now. I think he played in Copa America not that much, if I'm not mistaken. Would be a good signing if we're going to get Fofana or Kone. But according to sources, Real Betis is looking for more than 20 mil. And obviously, I don't want to get too much into financial stuff. Let's take more on the analysis point of view and breaking down the player, his skill set, and how he would fit on the team. But so far, all our signings have hit that 20 mil mark. 18 mil with bonuses, et cetera, et cetera. So we'll see about them. But more importantly, what I really wanted to get into was some of his scouting report from La Liga analysis on him as well. Hey, by the way, anybody who's tuning in on tonight's show, hey, thanks for hopping in, for staying locked in on tonight's show. Wherever you're from, thank you. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Like the video, and watch our previous shows as well. Damn, this guy was excellent, by the way. God damn. All right, so let's get into Cardozo. All right, here we go, fellas. So this is La Liga analysis. So you can take a look here. This is his high regains where he's regaining the ball, right? So he does regain the ball higher up the pitch. So 19 counter-pressing recoveries. This is from this season at La Liga when he was playing at Real Betis. 4 dangerous recoveries, 11 high gain recoveries, which is super important, right? The higher the pitch, you regain the ball, you win those 50-50 balls. Depossess your opponent, higher up the pitch, your chance of increasing scoring goals or putting high quality goals, shots on goal, increases by a lot, right? So you got your gray spot, your gray marking is ball recovery, green spots is dangerous recovery leading to a shot within 20 seconds, and red is counter-pressing recovery. So counter-pressing is once you lose the ball, you're pressing immediately. You're not sitting back in a mid-block or in a low block. You're counter-pressing immediately, trying to get the ball back as soon as you can. So counter-pressing recovery within 5 seconds after possession's lost. So the quicker you counter-press and recover that ball, the other team is still out of balance, out of sorts. They might not get a chance to gain their shape back defensively, get their men back, communicate, and, leave gaps within that defense, right? To get more plays up the field, to gain that advantage in the attacking third. So some really good numbers, by the way. So let's break down his defensive actions too, right? From La Liga 2023-24 and Europa Conference League. So defensive actions is gray, Interceptions is blue, fouls is red. So you can see here interceptions. He does get interceptions all over the pitch. So he's got a really good engine, really good defensive awareness, defensive actions. He's very active defensively all over the pitch as well, and fouls. So one good thing about these kind of players like this, by the way. So currently we're playing a 4-2-3-1, right? That's what Fonseca has been primarily using, what we've seen in the 4-3-3. But let's just say he sticks with the 4-2-3-1 for the beginning of the season. So you would have, just for argument's sake, Emerson Royal, our new signing, Pavlović, which I'll get to in a little bit later on in the show. All right. Gabia. I'll get into Gabia in a minute, why he should be starting next to Pavlović. And you have Theo. Then a double pivot. This is my ideal double pivot. Would be Benny and a player like Johnny Cardoza. All right. Then you have your midfield of, Pulisic, right behind Morata. You got Leao on the left, and you have Chucky on the right. And Salamakers coming off the bench for defensive purposes, right? Or on the left side as well. But more importantly, that double pivot, you really need two players who are defensively strong, really good engines, right? Because in a 4-2-3-1, the weakness is on the fullbacks, right? That space between the double pivots, midfielders, and your right back and your left back. Because of that space that teams can exploit, which I explained in episode number 3. So when the fullbacks are pinned in on those wingers, right? If the ball is thrown, say it's passed over to Emerson Royal's side, means somebody like Benny who needs to get over, help him out, right? But also once he gets past him, he needs to recover right away, right? Once he gets past his line, he needs to be recovered. Watch for the third man runs inside the box and those cutbacks. The third man runs. Same thing on the other side of the pitch. The ball is passed over, swung over to Theo's side. If he's pinned on 1v1 on a winger, Cardoza or somebody with a really good engine, just like Benny, needs to hustle over there, have the defensive awareness, his head on a swivel, being aware of his surroundings, right? Scanning the field, see what's going on, making a run over to that side of the field, trying to depossess the ball, slow down the winger, do something to slow down his progress, right? Make him less dangerous. And then do the same thing once he's, Theo has picked him up. He might not need that additional help because the center back might be back there as well. Something like Gabia covering his back, all right? For example, Cardoza or any midfielder with a really good engine and awareness needs to get back for those cutbacks, those third man runs as well. Sometimes Pulisic might do it, but he's all by himself. So that's why it's extremely important that you have two midfielders that are defensively strong. Benny's also a complete midfielder. He's strong on the ball. He's got good passing range. So does Cardoza. Somebody like Tijani, he's a very good midfielder for us. Last year, forget about the Euros, he wasn't defensively strong as well at all. There was more than a handful of times during the season where he missed the assignments, wasn't aware, didn't pick up his player, making those runs back to the box. So for me, this kind of, very defensive formation, that 4-2-3-1, you need two strong midfielders, just like we had during our Scudetto. We had Benny, we had Kessie, and Tonali rotating in. All right, they covered a lot of the field, just like Cardoza does and Benny does. and then we'll be able to regain those balls higher up the pitch and start our counterattack. Hey, Hussein, my man, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in. Let me just bring up. So Hussein asked, should Milan go in for Chiesa? Man. So there's a lot of talk about Chiesa. Let me just actually highlight your chats here. So Hussein asked, should Milan go in for Chiesa? Chiesa, I like, not just because he's Italian. He's a talented player. He would, I think, but the thing is, would he fit into Fonseca's style of play? That's the main question. I would like to get him. I know a lot of other Milanista that would like Chiesa, but it's going to come down to the right price, unfortunately, for management, right? I don't know what he's going, what his the going rate for Chiesa is. I'd like him to stay to Italy, but I think there's some interest from some EPL clubs right now as well. So we'll see. Yeah, I'd like him on the team to build that Italian core. Also, because he's a very talented player. But you know, at the end of the day, it's what management, unfortunately, what their salary cap is, I guess, for this season. They don't want to go over a certain amount, and it looks like right now we just have 2 signings. Personally, I'd like to see him on the pitch in red and black. And yeah, I feel like we could turn out to be a missed opportunity like Dybala. Yep, me too, Sin. Dybala, he's turned out pretty well for Roma, right? God damn, this is pretty good, Moscow. Sorry about that. Yeah, Dybala as well. It's another missed opportunity. We don't want to miss out on that. So yeah, for sure, I'd like to see Chiesa in red and black. But at the end of the day, it's what management wants, and it looks like right now they're not focusing on any Italian players at all. So yeah, thanks for your question, Hussein. Everybody else tuning in, if you have any questions about the players that anything tactically that I'm going over today, about the formation, the questions about the fullbacks being pinned in and things like that, please throw them in the chat. So that's Johnny Cardozo, right? So obviously, Real Betis is asking for 20 mil. He'd be a great addition, like I said, to create that defensive shield with Benny, and then you'd have Loftus-Cheek off the bench, because I think he fits better in that double pivot more than that 10 role. And Tijani, right? Depending on the game, depending on the type of team that we're playing, how we want to try to break them down, offensively. All right. So the next place we went over Everton Morale. We went over Johnny Cardozo, alternative CDM, right? And dude, that's about it, really. I mean, the other person that I'm seeing here in terms of transfer rumors, that's it. It's gotten cold as hell. It really has. Let me get back. All right, boom. No, it's not it. Hold on, fellas. This Restream kind of changed things up a little bit. They upgraded their software. Give me a second here. Okay, let me stop sharing the screen then. Where is it? All right. That's fine. That works for me. All right. They kind of changed around the settings here. All right, that's cool. So the next segment we're going to pull up today is Salvatore Esposito. This is a player that I like as well. So let's get into Johnny Salvatore Esposito. He's an Italian player. I was actually brought to his attention from, let me pull up the right page here. Johnny Esposito, where is he at? Okay, there it is. So Salvatore Esposito, he's currently playing in Serie B, Italian, right? But most importantly, he's not even that. He's currently from Football Town Scout, Jacek Kulig. He's a really good scout, has a really good reputation. He's got his Football Town Scout page on X. He's a 20-year-old regista, one of the best young midfielders in Italy, right? And I'm hearing this from some other people as well. This is a kid I would like us to grab, right? This kid right here. We haven't had an Italian midfielder since Tonali. This kid's 20 years old. He's an up and really talented player, right? A lot of people are talking about him. And, last season he played 16 games, 2 goals, 4 assists. Let's get into some more information, some more stuff about him. So, according to some other, let's look at his transfer market actually right now. Where is it at? Okay, here we go. So, he's actually 23. So that was a couple years ago. Okay. So that's my bad. So that report from Jacek was from 2021. All right, still relevant, but my bad. So right now he's 23 years old. He's a defensive midfielder, plays for Spezia Calcio. His contract expires in 2027. Is it a really good price? All right, so he's played for the U16, U19, U20, 21, and the Italian team. He's made 1 appearance in 2022. So that's a pretty good indication that people in Italy, the coaches in Italy, have really they believe in this kid. He's got a high ceiling, being that he's made almost every single national team at every age group, right? Going up the ranks as he's developed. And just because he plays a Spezia Calcio doesn't mean he's not talented. He's right-footed, plays, his main position is defensive midfielder, plays a central midfield as well, so he's, plays multiple positions. This kid right here. So this is my thing going in right now to the season. We have 0 Italian players. We're a team that's been in Italy. We're an Italian team, not an American team. We're American-owned. It has its roots in Italy. It has its heritage in Italy, Milan. Long history of great Italian players and great international players as well. But teams like Milan, the Seven Sisters, should have an Italian core to keep supplying the national team as well and to promote Italian football. So this kid right here, fuck, man. This kid, I would love to have in Milan. Love him. This who knows, he's going to be the next Pirlo. I don't have no idea. But, however, this kid's got a ton. People are talking about him. I don't know who's in the running to get him right now, honestly. He's been playing since, he was in the Brescia youth. So he's up there, man. He's played at some really good academies and all over Italy. So, he's brought up the right way, taught the game, how to play it, knows Italian calcio very well, the Italian style of football. And, if we're going to talk about price, the way way within Jerry's budget. So I really hope they get him. I mean, he would fit perfectly next to Benny as well, in that double pivot or being, mentored by Benny. Because somebody like Benny has the experience, and that's huge too, having somebody to mentor you, teach you how to, get through those difficult parts of the season, things not going your way on the field or off the field. Motivate you to train more, to stay on the pitch longer, to master your craft. Say X a couple hours, dribbling, going through your shots, taking shots on goal. At the end of the day, those mentors, something like that will just keep pushing those younger players. And in return, the younger players are going to push the older players as well with their desire to be great players, right? So it goes both ways. That's huge. I'm a huge believer in having mentors on the team, leaders like that. Something like Benny, something like Zach, and I brought this up before. If it wasn't for Baresi, Maldini wouldn't have been the defender he was. I mean, Baresi took him under his wing as a young kid and taught him how to be a great player. Maldini was already talented. He had all the talent in the world. It took somebody like Baresi to teach him how to be great. A world-class player, which we currently do not have right now. I mean, fellas, we're Milan. We've had world-class players for years. All right, let's forget about the Banta era and everything else. We've had world-class players. We've had so many talented players, world-class players throughout the generation, throughout the decades of football. And right now we have maybe what? Theo is the only world-class player. Leao, on his good days, is world-class, but he's not consistent enough. But let's talk about defense. We have one world-class defensive player, one, Theo. Tomori is not world-class. Our new signing Pavlović is not world-class. He's a very good defender. Gabi is not world-class. He's a good defender. Emerson Royal, his hell no, is not world-class. All right, nowhere near Cafu or any other great Brazilian player. All right, wasn't even the best right back in the EPL. Not even top 10, maybe top 10, if that. And we got Benny, who's not world-class. He's a great player. And that's it. We have one world-class defender. Come on. We should be doing better than that. We should be more ambitious than that. We shouldn't be content with that as a fan base. We should be demanding our management that we're the most financially stable club in Italy. We're making all these strides in America and marketing the club. Great. But we should at least get one. We should have got at least targeted one world-class defender this season. We've had opportunities in the past to get Calafiori a few seasons ago. We missed out on that. Buongiorno, he's in Rome or Napoli. Sorry, I didn't think we even try to target him or make an offer. We were looking at Scalvini before he got hurt, not after he got hurt. All right, he's considered a world-class player, defender by many, including myself. The list goes on, and we just missed the boat on every single one of them. And here we are getting Emerson Royal. And listen, for anybody listening to the show, any Milanista out there that's supporting Jerry, I have no beef against you. Do I disagree with your point of view? And, sure. But I'm not going to sit there and belittle you and call you stupid or a fake fan or whatever. Yeah, you're a Jerry supporter. Fine. So be it. And that's something you got to, that's the choice you made. However, at the same time, you need to understand and start listening to management's words, Forlani's words, and Jerry's words. We've been told they want to compete, win trophies. Forlani said it in his last interview in the United States that they want to be like Real Madrid and look after that model. But Real Madrid and us were in a completely different stratosphere. They're getting world-class players time and time again, every transfer window. They're picking up world-class players because their first goal is to win trophies. And then the financial success comes with that. We're worried about financial success and top four. Scaroni said it. He's come out. He's one of the few that's real about it and truthful to the fans. So just start listening to what they're saying in their interviews and realize and look at the way we're conducting ourselves during this summer, where we needed a CDM for the last 2 seasons. We needed depth in the midfield, and we missed out 2 seasons in a row. Now, we didn't do it last year. We had a big, signing. We signed so many different players, right? We signed Musa, Loftus Cheeks, Tijani. We signed 3 midfielders, and not one is defensively strong. Not one. Adley, no. He's way too slow. Should never play CDM ever again. Musa has the engine, but he's not defensively strong either. He doesn't have the awareness. He's not there yet. Tijani's more attack-minded. And his defensive awareness is average at best. All right, just look at the games. Forget about stats and look at the games from last season. Maybe he's improved this season. I don't know. But we need to add depth to that. Because if Benny gets hurt, he's out for an extended period of time again, we're hosed. We're going to leak goals regardless who's back there in the back four. We can have all 4 beasts center backs. We can have the best defenders in the back. We're going to leak goals because they need coverage. They need people to cover them, to cover that space, where teams can exploit you depending on the formation you're playing, like the 4-2-3-1, that space between the midfield and the fullbacks, that open space. Those fullbacks get pinned in. All right. But at the end of the day, my beef is with management. That's all. Not with anybody else. Management, that's the issue I have with his management. All right. Man, so right now I'm about at this bottle again. It's starting to warm up down here in Mexico. So I'm down in the Cancun region of Mexico. And it's getting extremely hot. But at nighttime, having some mezcal before bed or during a podcast is extremely enjoyable. All right. So far we've gone over Johnny Cardoza, Salvatore Esposito. We got one of Cardoza's heat map, the way he recovers the balls. So right now, there's Johnny Cardoza, would be a good possible signing for us, like I said, for that spot next to Benny to provide depth, defensive, stability, and then the kid Salvatore Esposito, another good one. Oh, by the way, shout out to FC I Am Robin. He's another well-known tactical on X. He brought Salvatore Esposito to my attention as well. It's FC I Am Robin, ROBIN. Check him out. He's an addict when it comes to calcio, to Serie A. He watches Serie A games, Serie B games, Serie C games. I wish I had that kind of time to dedicate, 18, 20 hours a day watching football. And I don't know how he's catching all these games, but God bless him, because he puts up some really good content. So if you're ever interested on finding out any new talents, any upcoming players from Serie B, smaller clubs out there, check them out on X. It's a good resource. So next segment. So finally, fellas, we've gotten our first defensive signing of the season. Hallelujah. So let's get into this one. Mr. Pavlović. All right, so we finally landed our center back that we've been trying to get. So if anybody's been living under a rock, Strahinja Pavlović plays for Red Bull Salzburg, plays for the Serbian national team, and had a really good Euros. Raised some eyebrows during those his play in the Euros, turned some heads. And, it was a good signing. We finally, I guess we were negotiating for a while. We were looking at other center backs. We finally got our man. Am I ecstatic about this signing? No. But at the same time, we needed depth at that position. Extreme depth, because this is what we're lacking. We can't count on Chow. Chow last year was atrocious, forgetting about the injuries for a second. When he was healthy, he made extremely poor decisions. I call it the yips. He was just mental mistakes. More importantly, during that Monza game where he made back-to-back mistakes within about 5 seconds. One poor mistake outside of the box, but it wasn't a called a foul because of the opposing team had the ball, so they just they went on with the play, because that's what referees are taught to do. Why stop the play, the progression of the play? Because you have advantage. And then when he went into the box and helped out Gabbia on a 1v2, he didn't back away. Gabbia had it covered. He was forcing the player, far wide from the near post, and he decided to foul him. There was no need to, shit like that, So Mr. Pavlović. So let's get into Pavlović. We got into him last time in episode 3 and 4. Well, except episode 4 as well, mostly. So he's a very strong defensive player. He's a more menacing version of Tamar, because he likes to push up the pitch. He likes to, pressure up the pitch, likes to carry the ball up. He's good on that, at that press, right? Pressing higher up the pitch than the other center back. Very good in the air. But according to some sources, he is a little bit reckless, because he's fairly young. He's a big kid. And, sometimes with those kind of players, they just, instead of using finesse and using, more intelligent, I'm not saying he's a stupid player, but in order to be a great center back, what makes somebody great at center back, regardless of the physicality, the strength, the size of the player, how yoked they are, is intelligence, meaning being aware of your defensive awareness where you're on the pitch, where your opponent's on the pitch, where your teammates are on the pitch, your center back, the other center back, able to anticipate the ball properly, anticipate where the ball is going to go, anticipating where the opponent's going to go once he has the ball or before the ball. So you try to get to that spot before him. So if a certain player likes to be in a certain area on top of the box, you're already there before him. You're beating him to that spot, just like, in basketball when you're drawing a defensive foul, a charge, you get in there before the attacking player is driving to the basket, right? You throw down a dunk or a layup or a quick little jumper. You're getting there before the play. So that makes those kind of skill sets makes a really good defensive player. And at this point, Pavlović doesn't have that yet. So that's why, and I've been saying this from the beginning for the last couple of weeks now, he needs to be paired up with Gabbia. And I'll tell you what, not Tomori, because like I said, Tomori and Pavlović have the same type of profile. Forget about size, but they're the same player. Just Pavlović is a souped up version of Tomori. But what Gabbia brings is he's more calm, has defensive awareness, right? As a playmaker as well. And I showed it last time during the stats, comparing their stats. Gabbia is a better passer, progressive passer, moving the ball up the pitch, switching the ball to the other side of the pitch, unbalancing your opponent, right? Breaking those lines with the ball, not with his dribbling, but his passing, which is important, right? Depending on how other teams are set up, if you're trying to catch them on a counter, their shape is not, if they haven't gotten back in their shape yet. Pavlović doesn't have that part of the game. So you put somebody like Pavlović and somebody like Gabbia who can complement him. That would be a very good center back pairing, in my opinion. All right, this whole talk about Pavlović and Chow, Pavlović and Tomori, I don't want to hear it. If you watch Tomori well enough, you realize in Pavlović they're very similar. And if you watch Gabbia, closely enough during last season when he came back from his loan, he's gotten more physically. He became back. He was very physical as well, and now he's all yoked up as well. But he's got that more of awareness on the pitch, defensive awareness, able to anticipate balls, anticipate where the opponent's going to go, and more importantly, can break the lines with his passing. So you pair him up like Pavlović, we're good to go. So let's get some stats of Mr. Pavlović. So he was born in 2001, center back, left-footed, 1.94 meters. He's a big kid. So let's get into the nitty-gritty of this. So if you have physical dominance, so weaknesses, just like I said before. So I was on point, overcommitting defensively, making those reckless plays, right? Decision-making, weight of passing. So his passing is not there yet. Weight of passing means, is the pass coming in with way too much heat? Is the ball properly placed? So your player can get to the place on the back foot, the right foot, the right weight, so they can trap it without any problems and make their move towards goal or away from the defender once they get the ball. But overall, forget about the weaknesses. That's something Gabbia can cover. The strengths complement Gabbia really well. So his style of play can come across as chaotic, which at times, but in Salzburg, they were in the process of turning the center back into one of those channels. His aggression uses it in a clever way, yes. So under the right coaching, right guidance, right mentorship, like I said before, you have somebody. That's the problem. We don't have any center backs with any real mentorship skills. We had Kjaer, he's out. Hummels would have been a good one. We didn't end up not signing him at all. Not yet anyways, but who knows, it's possible. Because last time I checked, Hummels is still available. So maybe the coaching staff will be responsible for mentoring him. I don't know. But yes, if you can be able to channel his aggression the right way, it's going to help his game grow. It's going to help him develop at Milan. So I would say, so according to this scouting report, they believe that he's more suited playing in a back three, but he could play in a back four as well. So let's get into a back three for a second. So back three would be a good option as well. I'm not telling Fonseca what to do. I don't think I don't know better than a professional coach, even Pioli, or any coach that we think is inferior to other coaches. Pioli actually did a good job overall at Milan, and he did win this Scudetto. A back three wouldn't be bad. So you would have myself, when I've talked about this with some friends of mine, we would have Pavlović on the right, Gabi in the center, playing that Bastoni role, right? Because he's got the passing range, and you got Tomori on the left. Then your midfield would consist of Deo, either Tijani or whoever we have on our field currently on the team right now. Tijani, Benny next to him. And then on the right, you would have Royale or Emerson Royale or Calabria. All right. Then you would have Chuck or Pulisic on the right, or up front, and on the left, Leao. So it's not a bad lineup as well. So he could play in different setups, Pavlović. Like I said, physically strong, aerial dominance. But like I said in the scouting report, just kind of said the same thing that I just put out. He's overly aggressive, overcommits, makes some bad fouls because of his eagerness and his physicality. So that's things that need to be worked on. So, yeah, good signing overall. Is it going to get us close to winning the Scudetto? No, definitely not. Definitely not. Inter's, they've added Zielinski in the midfield, so they've gotten stronger defensively. Anyways, got a really strong midfield. Midfield is one of the, it is the best in Italy. Are they one of the best clubs in Europe? Not yet, but they've improved. They still have their Bastoni and their defensive backs. And they got Inzaghi. Still, he's coming back for another season. And they've added some up top. They've gotten Taremi, right? Even Taremi's out, Lautaro's stepping in. So they're not short in any position. So looking forward to next season. Do I think we will have a chance to win the Scudetto? No. We have a chance at top four? Yeah, definitely. I would say so. But the question is, for me, the one thing that needs to be addressed is that midfield. Because you see Inter's midfield of Hakan and everybody else out there. And then Zielinski. They provide that coverage for their back three. They provide coverage for those pockets of space that teams try to exploit on their formation, because every formation has a weakness. All right, because a team that wants to attack is looking for time and space. All right, if they have time and space, they're going to make you pay for it, time and time again. That's a fact. One of the few teams that didn't need time and space was the Barcelona teams. And they had Busquets and Iniesta and Messi. They've interviewed some of those guys, and they say, like, yeah, we didn't need time and space. Like, they wanted you to come rush upon them because they had the ability, those players, once you came up on them and took that space away in that time, they were able to create off that and just cut you open, right? Either with their 1v1 skills or those quick passes, right? Those give and goes, overlaps, underlaps, 1-2s. But a team like Inter, those midfield, they're providing that they're able to take that time and space away from a lot of teams, right? And that's why they gave up so much. Like their goal differential was so fucking great last season, right? They scored a ton of goals, and the defensively was very extremely strong. I mean, shit. Even when they went to the finals 2 seasons ago, right? And they played against Man City. It was 1-0, and they had a couple of chances to score. If it wasn't for Lukaku. But defensively, they were strong against Man City. Because that midfield, if you have a good, strong midfield, you increase your chance of winning trophies, winning games. That's how we won our Scudetto 2 seasons ago. Oh, 3 now. I'm sorry. It's been 3. Because we had a strong midfield. We had depth. And right now, if we don't sign any players, say we sign nobody, say Emerson Royale is our last signing until the next window. Going to go in season with Benny, Tajani, who's got defensive issues, like I spoke about before. And just watch the games and you'll see. But if you watch the games from last season, you'll see how many times he misses his assignments. Right? He didn't scan the field, wasn't aware of his surroundings, where his any player cutting back behind his back shoulder. He didn't peek through and say, "Oh shit, there's so and so. Let me grab him, let me mark him," before he makes a run into the box on that cutback or whatever, and gets an open shot. He misses assignments. You have Loftus-Cheeks, who's not defensively strong, but and you have Musa and Natalie as well. And Musa, he's poor kid. He plays in different positions, but he doesn't have that defensive awareness yet. Can he get it over time? Definitely. But it's up to him, really. It's up to any player. But he has the attributes for that, to be a strong defensive midfielder if he wants to be. He's good on progressing the ball up the pitch and breaking the lines with not with his passing, but with his ball skills. Hadley, I don't know. He's better suited playing in a more attacking role as well. He had a couple of good games when we played against Atlanta, when he did cover and bodied CDK once or twice. But overall, he's not there yet either defensively. So from a defensive point of view, our midfield right now, on paper, on this day, on August 4th, 2024, with about 2 weeks left before the season starts, we have the same midfield as last season. And if you don't have a strong midfield, you're in trouble. That's just the way it goes. Right? Your midfield is your lifeblood. It connects you between your back line and your front line. It's so important to have that. And more importantly, as well, like I said before, an Italian core, because of our heritage and our history as an Italian club. And all this nonsense about, well, it's an American club, it's American owned, sure. But at the end of the day, the heart and blood of the team belongs in Milan. To have a good Italian core, like I said, I'll say it again before I close it up for tonight. Somebody like Salvatore Spazzotta would be a great addition. All right. 'Cause I don't, at this point, I don't see us. But in reality, I don't see us signing an Italian player, which is sad. It really is. Oh, one last thing too. Shit, almost forgot. So according to sources, Inter is making moves again. Hasn't been confirmed yet. It doesn't look like it's a closed deal. Let me share the screen really quick with you guys. Where is it at? There we go. So I mentioned this kid on a previous show. I think it was episode 2 on the Milanista report. So this kid, his name is Giovanni Leone. He's 17, promising center back. Plays for Sampdoria. Looks like Inter is looking to get him on. Like a deal could be done to get him to Inter. So Inter is making really nice moves, by the way. I know we all hate them. They're our rival club. But look at, taking our Milan glasses off and just analyzing it and being from an analytical point of view. He's an Italian player. They're supporting the Italian system, which is important, like I said. And this kid's got talent as well. He's a really highly sorted out defender in Italy. And they're looking to get him at some point because, they're getting a little bit along the tooth in the back line with a sure B, right? So, good for them. All right, let me stop sharing here. So we're at about 2:00 right now, EST. Hey, by the way, everybody's tuned in. If you have any, like I said, any comments, thoughts about tonight's show, questions, please throw them in the chat. All right, don't be shy. I'll be more than happy to answer them. All right, and Hussein, thanks again for tuning in, my friend. If you haven't done so, check out our other episodes. And I think tomorrow, John and not Husney and Shane, my co-host for Milanista 360, that's the OG show. They'll be on tomorrow at 7 a.m. EST, which is it's 2 p.m. Spain time, Spanish time. All right. So check them out tomorrow. We're going to go live and talk about what our competition's done overall with their signings and how our club has done overall with all the signings that we have, and maybe make some early predictions for the season. All right, but please check them out. All right, so just a quick recap. So tonight we went over transfer rumors. It looks like Emerson Royale is the only real one. The other ones have kind of cooled off with Fofana and Kone. Johnny Cardozo is another option that we're looking at. The kid from Real Betis. Plays in the U.S. men's national team. He's a good defensive. He's a good midfielder with good defensive qualities. We went over Salvatore Esposito, a really good alternative CDM that I'd like to see play at Milan. All right. He's currently playing at Spezia Calcio. We went over our new signing, and most likely our last signing of the summer. Oh, Emerson Royale, I should say. It probably is. Apologies. Strahinja Pavlović. We went over his qualities and his weaknesses and how Gabbia complements his weaknesses. He kind of fills that role and how they'd be a really good pairing together in that back line. And the importance of having good quality CDMs and a double pivot, right? To provide that coverage for your back line, recover balls up high up the pitch, slow down the offense, cover third man runs inside the box for those cutbacks as well, right? and to strengthen up your team, give it that teeth, that grinta that you need. All right, that's all I got for today. All right, shit, it's getting late. I'm getting tired. Thanks for tuning in to episode number 5, and I'll be back on most likely next weekends, either Saturday or Sunday. If I can do it this time, let me know. This is a good time, actually. You know, if family's asleep, I can sit down and have a nice glass of mezcal or whiskey or something else. And that's it. All right. And always, Forza Milan. Thanks for tuning in, staying locked in. All right. And please don't forget, we do appreciate your support. Subscribe to the channel, like our videos. All right. Thanks again. And always Forza Milan. All right. Good night.